also involved in, I want to say, a prison death
Yeah.
review committee.
So two of them. So death in custody review committee for adults, and then child death in custody review committee.
How often do those sorts of things happen? You having problems?
Yeah.
Children in custody winding up, I guess, dead in custody.
Yeah, there are reports that they were released on sort of death rates. So there is one out. I don't have the numbers in front of me, so I wouldn't want to comment on sort of the prevalency of it. But I will say that the two committees sort of broadly, and I say broadly because I don't have the terms of reference in front of me, but really the mandate is to look at any child in custody or any adult in custody. And so custody meaning they might be in foster care or they might be incarcerated, and then for adults in custody if you're in jail. So if there's a death in those instances, it comes to the committee for review. And our reviews really look at as much information as we can. We look at phone logs, we look at what the recommendations were, we look at health history, we look at interviews, and this is, I guess I would also say this is conducted through Chief Medical Examiner's Office, Dr. Bose, who chairs and oversees both of these committees. And there are also a couple other sort of review committees that I know of, but I'm aware of, I sit on these two particularly.
And the information that flows through those committees, is it private information, public information? What public information sort of stands out to you the most that you feel the alarm should be sounded about the most, if any? Yeah.
There's a lot of information that I've been vocal on the committee that I've learned that is challenging. This is challenging information to hear about, to learn about deaths, and then to sort of really get into the intimate details around how these things may have transpired. And
you have to view graphic or troubling videos or images or anything like that as part of your role in the community?
So
I would assume that that'd be very challenging.
Yeah. So I haven't. I don't think that we don't get to review sort of, and it hasn't come up yet. Really, like images of somebody who has died. But there's like videos and things that we're able to see of the person who is alive, and it's kind of analyzing particular clips or analyzing all of the information that is available to us. And what's available to public is very limited, and this is where death review committees are sort of challenged in that regard, because people do think that there is information that would be of public interest, and so coming onto the committee, we do sign confidentiality, and so I certainly can talk about the scope of the committee, but I can't talk about the things that we've found. But I can say that reports are released for each case that we review, and through the work of the committee, we've been talking about are there ways that we can make the things that we hear find more public, because we do think that there are things that we found that would be certainly of public interest.
And do you guys make, say, recommendations in terms of procedural changes or anything like that?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So yes, so when we're reviewing a particular case, let's say a case had to do with a fire, as an example, and none have that I've reviewed, so I'm just sort of making that up. But if case had to do with a fire, we may provide recommendations to how to prevent that. So that's one main goal of our role is to how to prevent this death or like deaths in the future to happen. And so again, we look at all aspects of it, and then we may provide recommendations for particular legislations around fire protections. We may provide recommendations around maybe people shouldn't be in said areas, or we know how the said fire happened. And I'm sort of, again, making it up on the cuff, but it's like that. So we'll look at case files, and then we'll provide recommendations to help prevent sort of those kinds of deaths or any deaths surrounding said incidents in the future.
And to date, have you made any recommendations that have been implemented?
So we have made some recommendations for some on the Child Death Review Committee, and we're wrapping up one right now on the Adult Committee. So the reports haven't gone yet, just because the committees are sort of sifting through and still providing some last-minute thoughts around it. So we haven't sent them in yet, so I wouldn't be able to say yes or no if those recommendations have actually been implemented just yet. But we will know.
So as of now, no.
Yeah, as of now, no.
And how long have you been on the committee?
So I've been on this committee, I would say, probably since just the beginning of summer of 2024.
Oh, honey, we're about to get very busy up in here.